Hey, what's up? For a month after its release, the MSI Claw did get some BIOS and driver updates. But in contrary to what MSI and Intel claimed, this doesn't always mean the performance improved, so let's talk about that.
This is Hubwood.
Below my MSI Claw comparison videos and reviews, I did get comments and complaints that the MSI Claw improved a lot and I should retest it. For fairness, I did. I took my benchmarks from early March, right after the MSI Claw's release, and retested a few games to see if and how the performance improved under the exact same conditions, with the newest available drivers and the newest available BIOS update as of July the 14th. I wasn't exactly praising the MSI Claw, and I thought it would just be fair to give MSI some time and see how, in this case, the Intel Core Ultra 7 version changed, as I did read articles claiming huge improvements in a lot of games. But to be honest, it doesn't look too good. So let's just jump right into the games, and we'll start with the games that actually improved.
For Cyberpunk 2077, I was using the integrated benchmark run with both the 40W performance and the 20W low power mode, while for the Ally we're seeing the equivalent 30 and 15W modes. The Ally's results are displayed in red, the updated MSI Claw in purple, and the Claw on release in blue. The Claw was able to improve its performance by 34% using the performance mode at medium settings now, leading to 39 FPS on average, and the horrible stuttering is gone, which clearly shows in the solid 1% lows of 27 compared to only 6 FPS right after its release, while the ROG Ally is still handling that game much better than the Claw and almost gets the same results with its 15W mode compared to the MSI Claw's 40W mode, while the overall difference was smaller on the low power modes of both devices, while we have to keep in mind the MSI Claw is still using 33% more wattage as it can't operate below 20W. So while the Claw improved its performance in Cyberpunk 2077, it still can't keep up with the ROG Ally and its Z1 Extreme. For the maximum comparability, I was testing Apex Legends via a predefined parkour in the training level at the lowest settings only. The 40W mode for the MSI Claw seemed to be a bit better now with 94 over 88 FPS, which is 8% more, while the 1% lows were a bit better as well. But for whatever reason, using the 20W mode, it was now significantly slower with only 45 FPS over 62 FPS the last time I've tested it. And even with the improvement for the performance mode, the ROG Ally still is around 18% faster. And to be honest, out of the 10 games I've retested, these were the only 2 titles in which the MSI Claw really improved its performance. But the thing is, in basically all other games I've tested, the performance was, well, see for yourselves. In Forza Horizon 5, I was using the integrated benchmark once again, and the updated MSI Claw actually performed a bit worse in all tests with 1 to 6 FPS less. I was double and triple checking the benchmarks, making sure I really had the newest drivers and everything else was set in an optimal way, ramping up the fans to the maximum speed, but still, it now performs even less good than before, making the Ally the clear winner once again in all scenarios. I have no idea what Intel and or MSI were thinking with this, or if I'm having a faulty unit or what exactly is going on here, but unfortunately it's not going to get better with the next game. I was using my usual benchmark run through the Forbidden Forest for Hogwarts Legacy, and again, the updated MSI Claw was performing around 5 to 10% worse than when it was released, while the Ally is way ahead with up to 38% on low settings with the high performance mode, even though I was using FSR on performance. By the way, XESS isn't performing any better at all. And yes, temperatures were fine, so that can't be the cause for this FPS loss either. Somehow it feels like Intel should be able to reach the same performance as AMD, considering the 3D Mark benchmarks. They are ahead, but they just don't seem to be able to make use of that. And it has now been 7 months since they have released these GPUs, and they had plenty of time to fix that if the performance actually exists. In Far Cry 6, I was using the integrated benchmark 2, and the updated Claw was more or less exactly 2 FPS slower in all 4 scenarios, and once again way behind the ROG Ally. This could basically be considered within the margin of error, But as it was so consistent over all 4 tests, it clearly matches the other benchmarks I made for today's video. For Red Dead Redemption 2, I was once again using the integrated benchmark run, and that was the only game I tested in March in which the Claw performed better than the ROG Ally, at least on the lower wattage mode. And now they somehow managed to destroy even that lead for some reason. So on the lower wattages it now performs identical to the ROG Ally while still being behind by up to 24% in the handheld's performance modes. Though at least in 3 of the 4 tested combinations the 1% lows improved a bit, which could be a coincidence, to be honest. On the higher wattages the ROG Ally is now ahead by up to 24% for the medium settings. And once again, for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I was using the integrated benchmark run, testing the game multiple times and once more pretty exactly 2 FPS less in all scenarios, while the 1% lows improved a bit on the lower wattages since it seemed unplayable on 20 watt the last time I've tested it. And I hate to repeat myself, but the Ally is ahead once more, even though not as clearly as in other titles I've tested today. And for Starfield, I was using my usual benchmark run through the first biggest city in the game. Driver and BIOS updates didn't seem to have any effect whatsoever in this case, meaning the ROG Ally with its Radeon 780M still literally destroys the MSI Claw, especially on low settings, and the performance mode with a difference of a whopping 76% or 29 FPS in this case.
Okay, I was really hoping we'd see better results, and I can't explain why the Claw even performed worse in so many cases. I really tried everything, even fiddling around in the BIOS or not using MSI Afterburner, no difference. I've got quite some experience with testing Intel integrated graphics since the Iris Xe came along, and to be honest, I didn't expect a lot, as Intel in the past never managed to significantly improve the performance over time for their iGPUs, except fixing stuff like texture issues or crashes in one or the other title. But to be fair, all of this of course depends on the tested games, and I'm sure there are other games like Cyberpunk 2077 in which the performance actually improved. But I'm obviously not cherry-picking games like Intel understandably does in their press statements, and I just went with my usual range, which I've used back in March in the first place. And I don't know, with AMD's Strix Point releasing in a few days, with leaks that suggest AMD's Radeon 890M will be around 30% faster than the Radeon 780M we see in the Ally's Z1 Extreme, it would be an understatement to say that Intel has a problem in this market. And don't get me wrong, I hoped it would be different, as AMD is clearly going to take advantage of this considering the price. I mean, in general, it's a good thing that MSI was betting on Intel to see if that would work, but I'm almost sure they won't do that next time. Now, and that's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more benchmarks with the upcoming refresh of the ASUS ROG Ally with its Ally X in a few days. Don't forget to hit that like button as well. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye and tschüss.